Yeah. All right. Last thing I want to talk about, George Pickens, viral not once but twice this week. Couple of toe taps. Started practice today off slow with two drops and decided, never mind, I'm actually going to be George Pickens. Comes back with an amazing catch, I thought, to kind of intercept James Pierre and come up with a ball that I thought was definitely put into a bad place in double coverage. Made a couple of nice catches there. I mean, I just think overall, George Pickens, what he's shown this week is that it's almost impossible to cover this guy. Like, if you're just going to throw the football up to somebody, George Pickens is a guy that it's just like your confidence is so high to just be like, yep, nope, that's he'll at bare minimum, it's not going to be intercepted. Like, he'll make something happen, but chances are he's coming down with that football.
Yeah. It if there's anyone that can cover George Pickens this year, he is not on the Steelers. There's not
No.
been one corner who has been able to contend with this guy. It's like superstar level stuff. Like, it is, I don't know. He's been really, really special. It's hard to come up with enough superlatives because it's not just like those big highlight reel catches like the ones that he made, against Cleveland, or even in camp. Yeah, it was this week, like on Joey Porter, and then another one. I forget who was covering him, but it was in the back of the end zone, like a toe tap. He had to extend so high to get it, but still brought his feet down in bounds for a touchdown. It's not just that stuff, that stuff catches a lot of attention, but he's also like doing the little stuff. Like, he's expanding that route tree. Like, he's able to
Yes.
to run with a little bit better agility and stuff like that. So you can really see his game start to grow, in addition to and then he's mossing people everywhere, like left and right. He's doing
Yeah.
and then of course he's George Pickens, so he's going to be able to block too. Like, the holes in George's game are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we're like, look, at last year it was like, okay, George Pickens is going to be a star. We kind of know it. Now it's just like, oh, okay, how good could this kid actually get? Like, how good is he right now? Because it feels like, I mean, like, if I'm building a football team, and I get it that I'm biased because I watch this guy every day, but if I'm building a football team, he's pretty high up there on the list of names that I'm considering for a wide receiver. Like, he's as high up there as it gets, because I just think that you got to remember, this guy is young, super young. Is only entering his second year in the season in the league, has gone up against names like Levi Wallace, Joey Porter Jr., and Patrick Peterson every single day in practice, and continues to look like an absolute freak on the football field. Like, there's just like you said. Oh,
Those things cut out quickly.
yeah, very quickly. I think they're just giving us a warning. Get the fuck out of here. Just like you said, I just don't. I don't know who could stop him. It's not, that name's not on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. It's great practice for Joey Porter. Like, I think that's the other end of this, is that Joey is like, there's narratives out there that Joey is not up to par or whatever. No, he's up to par. He's going against George Pickens, and that's just, what are you going to do? Because I mean, I asked George the other day when we were talking about his catch, like the viral over the Joey Porter catch. And I said, dude, Joey said that he had perfect form on that play. And he said, oh yeah, no, it was perfect coverage. He said, and then he gave me the greatest quote ever. He goes, sometimes it's like Michael Jordan and AI, good D, better offense. And I was like, man, that was incredible. But and in the moment, I thought it was incredible too. And but I just think that that's like, if Joey's going to lose most of these, and he's going to come out the other side against guys who aren't as good as George Pickens, which are most guys in the league, and he's going to look phenomenal because he's going up against somebody who's like almost elite.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is like great competition, like all over the defensive backfield. Like, Patrick Peterson has not been there every day, but he still had to face George Pickens a bunch of times, and these are great battles that George is winning most of the time. And that's the other thing. Like, it's not just Joey; it's like Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace. Like, these guys that we are maybe seeing get beaten some bad ways by George are gonna feel much better about themselves when they can go up against different teams, guys who are not George Pickens, and they'll come out on top. And it goes the same way for George. Like, these are some good corners he's doing this stuff too. Like, this is one of the better secondaries that is in the NFL, even with some guys not in practice every day. this is great competition for him, and the fact that he's coming out on top against those names is really impressive, and I think gives you a lot more confidence that this is real.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely real. And I think that for Kenny Pickett and a lot, like Kenny, I don't know, Kenny's looked back and forth to me, very good, very mediocre at times. I mean, we've talked about this, but I think that you could almost be mediocre with George Pickens and still be okay. Like, and your offense is still going to be just fine, and everybody's going to look really good because he's just George Pickens, man, and that's just what he does. And it's getting scary level, and I'm glad that we got to talk about it because I think everybody's like raving, like, oh, George looks good, George looks like good, George looks like George, and you're like, yeah, no, George does look like George, and George looks like he's on his way to something that the NFL like hasn't seen. And I mean, there's always elite wide receivers, and there's a couple in the league right now, but I mean, I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and watch some film to say that year 2 anybody looked like George Pickens looked, and I think that's scary good for the Pittsburgh Steelers.